topic of today's webinar is the entrepreneur in me. All right, and it's going to be a phenomenal one. Okay, so here we go. This is the timetable. This is where we're at right now. We are in webinar number 2 on the 14th of July. And on the screen right now, you can see just all of the other topics that are still to come. And the schedule is up on the screen as well. So our next one is going to be my business or my personal goals. And we're also going to be talking about mental health, especially for entrepreneurs. And especially, I'm sure if you are in business and you are running a business right now in South Africa, you know that every single day is a day like no other. There is no predictability in anything that we go through right now. And so very important that we do take care of ourselves. But today we're talking the entrepreneur in me, and it's going to be a phenomenal one. I'm just waiting for Portia to signal if she's back, and otherwise we will. Team, if you can let me know if you are ready with the video. Let me quickly talk about what we're going to cover today. So today we're going to touch a little bit on what is entrepreneurship.
I'm here, Darren.
Are you back?
Yes,
awesome
I'm back.
stuff. Please take us through the agenda, Portia.
Yeah, so the agenda is looking interesting. So what we're going to be talking about today is what is entrepreneurship, what are the key success factors of entrepreneurship, personal characteristics needed to be an entrepreneur. We're going to look at skills, expertise, and aptitudes of successful entrepreneurs. Then we look at the management and leadership skills of successful entrepreneurs. And then we look at entrepreneurship and business failure. And then we look at my favorite, personal SWOT analysis.
It's going to be a great one. I can't wait for us to get into that one. So we have a little video just introducing what entrepreneurship is. And I'm going to ask the team just to get that video up for us. So I'm going to take my screen down, and then team, if you can just play us the introduction video on what entrepreneurship is.
Entrepreneurship is probably the most misunderstood word that I've known. I'm going to spend a couple of minutes telling you what I think it really is and what I think it really isn't. I'm Murray Herbst, Director of Entrepreneurship for UTS. I spent 20 years being an entrepreneur and 7 years helping thousands of people to start and grow companies. And to me, entrepreneurship is just deciding what you work on for yourself instead of being told what to work on for someone else. Entrepreneurship allows you to have the impact that you want to have on the world in the way that you want to have it. Just solve a problem that you understand for people that you understand, and you're an entrepreneur. That's it. It doesn't need to be more complicated than that. Entrepreneurship doesn't need special skills. You'll be able to develop skills over time. It doesn't need genius ideas as long as you know the problem that you're solving. It doesn't need you to know all the answers. As long as you're experimenting and testing, you'll figure them out over time. It doesn't need you to take a big risk. You can start small and grow. It doesn't need money. Entrepreneurs, I find, are wonderful at using what they have to do what they need to do. And most of all, entrepreneurship is not just for certain kinds of people. I think everyone is able to be an entrepreneur, and everyone has the potential to become a wonderful entrepreneur. I think really entrepreneurship is misunderstood. People think it's a complicated thing or a hard thing or something for only certain kinds of people, and they're wrong. It's not those things. Entrepreneurship for me is a liberating thing that allows people to have the impact they want to have on the world. And everyone needs to be thinking about it as something simple and meaningful that they can do. So my question for you is, do you want to decide what you do for yourself instead of being told what to do for someone else?
Beautiful. What a great informative video. Portia, what stood out for you in that video regarding the definitions of entrepreneurship?
It's always been confusing. That there's always been that question, are entrepreneurs made or are entrepreneurs born? So I know, I understand where the guy is coming from. But it's true. I think most of us who are entrepreneurs, we think on our feet, we spot the gap, we see the opportunity where there's none. Where there's a problem, we turn that problem into an opportunity, and we come up with solutions.
Beautiful. I love how when he says anybody can be an entrepreneur. You don't need special skills. You really just need the desire. And I think, again, it just reiterates the importance of a program like this, because a big part of this program is to really be able to help us create and, just hone and develop more of the skills that is needed to be an entrepreneur. And so we can see the definition up on the screen right now as the definition of what an entrepreneur is. Portia, I'm going to ask you just to read it because I can't see the entire definition up on my screen because of everybody's faces that are showing. So if you can just read us the definition of what an entrepreneurship.
Okay, it says an entrepreneur is a person who undertakes and operates a new enterprise or venture to offer a new or existing product or service into a new or existing market, whether for a profit or for non-profit outcome, and assumes some accountability for the risks involved.
Beautiful. I think very important to realize is that there are different types or various types of entrepreneurs that we can discuss, and they are categorized as, so I know we have some that come up with completely new ideas. Then we have those who we consider hustlers. Those are people who just work harder and they're willing to really get their hands dirty. And then we get imitators, and imitators are people who are not necessarily, they don't come up with brand new things. They copy ideas, they see ideas that work, and they just improve them and then create great businesses from there. And so these type of entrepreneurs include people that are doing some scalable business entrepreneurs. These are people who want to grow their business so that it eventually becomes their main source of income. And then we have hobby lifestyle entrepreneurs. These are people who just want to supplement their income. And they don't necessarily want to grow bigger, but they're just doing it to have an additional stream of income. And then the third type is a social entrepreneur or social entrepreneurship, where it is people that are pursuing novel applications that have the potential to solve community-based problems or problems in society. And so entrepreneurship is a process. And so part of that process is firstly identifying an opportunity, very important. An entrepreneur is always able to look around and see an opportunity. Then being able to develop a business concept. So it's one thing to see an opportunity, but it's now being able to answer the question, am I able to turn this opportunity into a business? And how am I actually going to make this opportunity an effective business? All right, then it's about acquiring resources, finding the resources that you need in order to make this business a success, and then implementing the business concept or the idea and having a strategy that you know you can follow so that this business ends up being successful. And then of course, growth or exit of the business or concept idea. So I think that talks about really, as an entrepreneur, you need to decide whether you want to be able to really grow this business to its max, or do you want to be able to grow it to a point and then exit it, build it so that you can sell it. I think those are some of the ideas that you need to be thinking about as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. And, talking about what you just said, the things you mentioned, I'm just thinking of two examples, Apiwe Nusana Mawela and Theo Baloyi from Batu Sneakers. Those are great entrepreneurs, and very young too, and it says here most entrepreneurs start a business by noticing that there's a need that is not being met, because that's what happened with Theo. Theo came back from Dubai as an accountant, came back, went to Gomorrah, which we call, that's Gomorrah Alex. And then when he got there, he realized that, we don't have a black sneaker. A black people, there's no sneaker that's a company that's owned by a black person, and saw the gap. And now, when we talk about Batu Sneakers, everybody's wearing the sneaker. It's everywhere. He's got shops, the big malls, everywhere in the country. Yeah, so it's exciting. And then we've got Apiwe Musana, the first woman to actually start or ferment a beer. And his beer is now sold in Europe. So. Those are just two people that I think we can learn from, and I'm sure what I'll do, I'll send the guys links so that they can see these stories. We've got more stories like about Tsepo Jeans and other brands. So about Xhosa, so we'll send those links so that you can just read about these stories. Yeah, and then they also say every business is a solution to a problem. For example, taxis is because we need transport to move from one place to another. Nail bars. Not everyone can do their nails. You need an expert nowadays to do that. So these entrepreneurs really saw a gap, and there was a problem, they come up with a solution. So as an entrepreneur, it is up to you to identify the problem, find possible solutions to the problems, and eventually identify the actual workable solution. Yeah.
Portia, so what makes a successful entrepreneur?
No sleeping. I don't sleep. So there is no 24 hours. I like people say they want to be independent. They think when you're an entrepreneur, independent. It's really not true. It's just independence in entrepreneurship means controlling your time, but you work over time. I always feel like I need more than 24 hours a day to actually do what I need to do to satisfy my clients, So I think hard work, perseverance, and a good reputation and integrity. For me, that's a good entrepreneur, yeah.
You'll see now that, again, also management and leadership skills are so important as entrepreneurs. As much as you are solving problems and as much as you've got this business idea, you actually are now a business owner. And I think a lot of times entrepreneurs make that mistake of not realizing the importance of being able to really, really polish up on those skills to be able to run a business effectively. And so let's look at some of the skills and traits that entrepreneurs possess. And so the first one is future focused. So as an entrepreneur, you very often have to be focused on the future. Don't get stuck in just what's happening right now. Then, of course, it's very important to be able to constantly be generating new ideas. So idea generation is a very, very important aspect of entrepreneurship as well, because just as you start feeling like you're mastering one thing, you actually need to adjust it, you need to change it, you need to be able to be adaptable and come up with a new idea. And then, of course, you have to have self-confidence. In fact, I would almost call this, instead of self-confidence, I would call it absolute belief, where you have to believe in yourself, believe in your product, believe in your business, because nobody else is going to be able to sell your business and sell the solutions that you present the way you can. And so as an entrepreneur, you have to believe in yourself, because people will see right through you. If you show up to a client or you show up to a possible customer and they can detect that you are not confident in the solution or this product that you sell, trust me, it affects whether or not they will actually buy from you and support your business. Portia, what are some of the others?
Yeah, there's optimism. Obviously, you must think positively. You can't be a negative person and then you want to run a business. That energy, And then persistence, like I said, you must persevere. You mustn't stop. Even when things are hard, you wake up and you do this thing again. You try it. And then there's interpersonal sensitivity. You need to be able to work with people. You can't be an entrepreneur or you run your own business and you don't know how to interact with people. Yeah, and then there's independence, like I explained. Independence for me, like I always say, just be careful when you say independent. It means a lot when you're an entrepreneur. It talks to responsibility, controlling your time, and being there when your clients need you. And then preference for limited structure. You need to have that structure. You can't be all over the place. And I think, after mentioning something, also you must also know that you are going to employ people. You are going to create employment, for other people. You're not just paying yourself or creating employment for yourself, but you are there to employ others. And then there's risk acceptance. You need to know that when you're getting into this thing, something may go wrong. So always have those mitigating factors, playing in your head. What happens, like insurance, I know a friend of mine didn't have insurance and lost a stock of 500,000 rand beginning of the year. And, that's really important as small businesses, especially when we're selling products. Can we please make sure we've got insurance to cover our goods? And then extra orientation, the procrastination. I think I used to suffer from that years ago. I'll do it. Do it. Just take action. Yeah, never ever just postpone things.
Before we go on to passion, I think action orientation also speaks about, as an entrepreneur, you have to really know that you need to get it done, irrespective of how you get it done. You need to just be able to find a way. And that's a really, really important skill of entrepreneurship. When we talk about action orientation, it's about getting things done quickly, and finding a way to make it work. And of course, a lot of times that is birthed within your passion, because at the end of the day, it's your business, it's your solution. And so you need to have that passion and of course also that need to achieve. So many entrepreneurs are driven by the fact that they just have this need to achieve the next thing. But I also think on this point, before we move to the next slide, it's also important to celebrate your victories, because a lot of entrepreneurs don't take time just to pause and say, well done, I got through that. Would you agree, Portia?
Yes, I agree fully. I think somebody just told me, like, okay, you must celebrate, all your achievements. It's a holiday, it's a dinner, it's a lunch. I've got a new way of doing it. If I achieve a few things in a month, I take myself out alone and have dinner by myself.
Beautiful.
So you must really celebrate your achievements, yeah. Definitely.
That brings us to the advantages and disadvantages of entrepreneurship. Let's touch on a few of those.
So independence again comes again, you know, independence, everybody likes independence, opportunity to realize your full potential, opportunity to realize a big profit. These are all advantages, and opportunity to contribute to society. So we are going to talk more, and I want maybe people, we must talk to other guys on the call, all the participants, they need to tell us how have they benefited from these advantages.
Cool. So let's actually do that. So for a moment, anyone in the room who would like to tell us what are some of the advantages you've experienced as an entrepreneur running your own business? So maybe at some point you were employed full-time and you decided to go out on your own, or you just went straight into your own business. What are some of the advantages that you've personally experienced? So let's have, if you could raise your hand, we'll allow you to unmute yourself, and let's get comments from just one or two people. Tell us, what are some of the advantages you've seen in your personal journey as an entrepreneur? Pusha, if you can, Muraro, you can raise your, you can unmute yourself and give us your comment.
Good morning, and thank you very much. I'm Muraro from EmpowerX Advisory Services. So for me, I would like to speak about this 1 year independence, because there is so many opportunities or places that I need to be that will advance my business, that I can simply just submit my own leave form, approve it, and then also go and be a part of that. So for me, independence, it's a big thing when it comes to an advantage when one is in entrepreneurship. Thank you.
Beautiful. Do you actually fill in a leave form and do you sign it yourself as well?
Mentally so.
I love that.
But I do keep track so that I can be able to see which days were within the business and which ones were for the business but outside. Thank
Beautiful.
you.
Thanks, Muraro. Thanks for sharing there. Anyone else want to share with us what are some of the advantages you've experienced as an entrepreneur in your own business? Guys, just again, a reminder to everyone to please keep their microphones on mute unless you are making a comment. Anyone else raise their hand?
Yes, I'm Tembi.
Tembi, your connection seems a little bit bad, so we're not able to hear you. Maybe you can type your comment in the chat.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else who's got good connection who would like to make a comment and share with us one of the advantages that you've experienced as an entrepreneur? Potejo, let's go. Potejo, you can unmute yourself and you can make your comment.
Hi, Potejo Maile from South African Business Investments. I mostly deal with tech support and graphic designs, and the best advantage for myself I've had is having to set my own price. Developing my negotiations, honed my prices.
Love it. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for your input. Pusha, let's talk a little bit about some of the disadvantages of being an entrepreneur. And I think the first one is when it comes to reputation and self-confidence. You know that if when you are representing a company or a big organization and you're just an employee, it's easy to say, oh, sorry, and then just correct it. But when you are the owner of a business and you are the entrepreneur, one bad move could really, really hurt your reputation. And then the second one is that uncertain income. I'm sure many of us on the call today would agree that as an entrepreneur, you don't always have that specific day that you're getting paid. You don't have that specific amount that you know is coming in. And so that's one of the disadvantages of entrepreneurship. Pusha, do you want to take us through the next ones?
Risk of losing all capital. You can lose a lot of money, so you should be prepared mentally for such. But I mean, if you plan properly, and I think as we go in the program, you'll see the things that you're going to be dealing with, especially when we go into the BMC. I mean, that's like the essence, where we capture the essence of a business plan. So that's why business plan is not only for funding, it's for you to plan properly so that you can actually avoid those risks. And some people, I mean, I know with my business, I didn't lose money when I started, but after 5 years, I started losing the money because I wasn't thinking of the sector, that things are changing, technology, innovation. I could have moved into e-commerce. I think my business would have survived if I moved my business into e-commerce and not have a store. So it's things like that, so you can risk, you can lose capital. Yeah. And then there's decreased quality of life. That happens. So when you run a business, things happen, you change your lifestyle. you know, because you know that you're growing and nurturing this business, you know, so all your money goes into that. So you could actually change your lifestyle. I know of people who've moved from big houses to smaller houses just because they want to nurture their business, and they're putting all their money into that business, investing into their business. Yeah, so you could do that. It's not a bad thing. It's just a sacrifice, a compromise as a business owner. And then total responsibility. Darren, I don't know what you think about this. For me, I think, you know, you are your own boss, but you're also accountable for everything that happens. It's stock, it's people that work for you, it's you, it's your family, it's everything, it's assets of the business. You are responsible for that. So the responsibility lies on the entrepreneur, you know. Yeah, so you need to know that you must take accountability for everything. Yeah,
absolutely. I'd like us to open the lines again and get comments from one or two people. Maybe anyone who'd like to share. What are some of the disadvantages you've seen in your entrepreneurial journey? I can certainly relate to the one where you talk about decreased quality of life. I would put that as lack of sleep, because you know, you don't only work 8 hours, you work 12, 20 hours a day because you have to get it done. But let's see if anyone else would like to raise their hand and tell us some of their disadvantages you've experienced. Sandile, you can unmute yourself and share your comment.
Hi, yes. Well, for me, because I'm in the entertainment space, I think for a long time I thought I was working for myself until COVID hit. And there was no entertainment going on everywhere. I think that was the biggest problem. I'm still trying to recover.
Absolutely. I think that ties in so nicely with how Portia said, when you don't realize the sector that you're in and how you need to keep up with what's happening in the sector. So that's very true. I'm hoping you've recovered, and I hope that you're starting to see an upward trajectory, because people need entertainment right now. That things are back on the move again. Anyone else want to share one or two of the disadvantages you've experienced in your journey?
I think there was this people who have written on the chat. I don't know if you read that. Ntikane Caroline Mahlase.
Go for it.
Yeah.
You can read it, Portia.
It says, good morning, everyone. Thanks to from the Northern Cape. Mahlase of Carey's Bites. Oh, nice name. For my side, I have experienced the one of independence, reaching my full potential as well, and having to be my own boss, creating my working hours, growing as a creative in my line of work, and upgrading my skills. Yeah, because there you need time for that. That's great.
Beautiful. Any other comments you'd like to read, or can we move on?
There's Palisa Muhanwe. Yeah, good morning. Mine will be realizing my full potential as I have went miles. I have never thought I would, and letting myself to grow beyond what I set up to myself. And then we've got Palisa. I am Palisa from Major Success. Okay, meet and grow. That's the same person. Then Pearl says, one of the disadvantages that I've experienced is that my business was actually taking out more money than it puts in. Yeah, I had to spend more on the introduction of my wine brand and marketing. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I think I like that, because we're still going to come to that, Darren, you know, when we speak about tracking, because people think they're selling, they're thinking they're getting the money in, but they're actually spending more than they're actually making. Yeah,
absolutely. So as an entrepreneur, it's so important that you know yourself, okay? Because you represent the business. And so you need to know yourself, you need to know your personality, and if your personality is a right fit for your business. And so a couple of questions you should be asking yourself when it comes to just your personality in terms of entrepreneurship is, are you a self-starter? You know, or do you need somebody to always be behind you and encouraging you? Because as an entrepreneur, you need to be able to be a self-starter. And then do you get along with different kinds of people? You know, your customers are going to be different, your suppliers are going to be different, and so you need to be able to really be able to get along with different kinds of people, and you have to have a positive attitude, especially when things are difficult. Entrepreneurship is a lonely journey sometimes, it's a difficult journey, and so you need to have a positive attitude. And then you have to be able to, do you ask yourself, do you like making your own decisions? You know, because remember, you have to be able to bear the consequences of your decisions in your business. And so that's why you have to be able to at least like making your own decisions. And then another one is, do you enjoy competition? Okay. So ask yourself, do you enjoy competition? Because it's very competitive. Chances are you are not going to be the only person doing what you're doing. And so you need to enjoy competition, make sure that it's healthy competition, because that will push you. Do you have the willpower and self-discipline? You know, are you able to work on your own, or do you need supervision? Do you have the willpower and the drive to keep going? Can you take advice from others? Sometimes people can look into your business and see that if you do or try something different, you might have a better outcome. And so you need to be open to that. Are you open to the coaching that you're receiving on this program? You know, when your coaches ask you, oh, why aren't you doing that? Are you open to receiving that kind of advice? And then I think we've touched on this already, Sandile's comment and even Portia's comment, but are you adaptable to changing conditions? Because the conditions that you operate under are not always going to be the same. And so as an entrepreneur, you need to be adaptable so that when things change, you're able to keep going. And then are you prepared to work those 12 to 16 hours a day? Okay, ask yourself that question, because it most likely is something that you're going to experience as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Before we move into the personal SWOT, I just wanted to say, what Darren was reading now, you know, knowing yourself, you'll find that in your workbook. Just fill it in, you know, ask yourself those questions and say a yes or a no, so that you know, and then that's going to lead you to a personal SWOT actually. So just go through in the book, in your workbook, and just tick if it's a yes or a no on every question that was mentioned by Darren there. And then let's go into personal SWOT. So a personal SWOT is this square that you see here. You see strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats there. And I know some people have seen this before. You know, when you do your business plan, they always ask you to have a business SWOT analysis. But now this is a personal SWOT. We will come to the business SWOT. So this is just to check your strength. And I think everybody should make sure that they fill this one, because I think if coaches have this, your personal SWOT, they can understand the type of person you are and how they can engage with you better. All right, so let's look at the personal SWOT. What is it and why do we need it? All right, a personal SWOT analysis is a tool that is used to assess an individual's strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. And it can help you gain self-awareness. You can improve your skills if you know the areas that you need to improve, and you can capitalize on your strengths. And here's an example of a personal SWOT analysis. So those are the questions that you actually answer when you write the personal SWOT. All right, so I'll make an example. I have strong communication skills, so it means I'm able to articulate my thoughts effectively and convey information clearly. You know, so that's a strength for me. And then I've got an analytical mindset. I excel at breaking down complex problems and finding logical solutions. So that's my strength. So you'll see that it says, what are your key skills and areas of expertise? You know, I'm a facilitator. So definitely for a facilitator, you must be able to communicate your point across so that I can be able to teach or transfer knowledge to other people. So that's my strength. All right. And then here, the next question, what personal qualities or attributes do you possess that give you a competitive advantage? I speak 4 languages to 5 languages. I can speak English, I can speak Afrikaans, I can speak, for me, that's my competition. I can compete with other facilitators and say, if they're looking for a facilitator who can speak English, Afrikaans, Zulu, Xhosa, I'm here, competitive advantage. So those are the things that you need to write about.
That's why you get more of the jobs than me. Hey, that's your competitive advantage, you see. I love it.
And then what achievements or accomplishments are you proud of? You know, I know that in a few minutes or maybe 15 minutes, we'll be talking to someone. You'll hear how the achievements that they have, our guest. So those are also things you need to write as your strength. Your winnings. Don't be shy to write about your winnings, your achievements. Then it says here, what resources or connections do you have that can support your goals? You need to answer that. I know a manager who works at this place, you know, you need to mention that. And then what positive feedback or recognition have you received from others? So usually you always find out where your strength lies when you hear from other people. You know, oh, no, actually you're good at this, hey? You know, that praise, yeah, you know, then you know that's your strength. And then we go to I don't know if you want to say anything about strengths, Darren?
I like that. Before we move on to weaknesses, let's open it up again. So let's have at least one person. So anybody on the call today. And guys, again, this webinar is really meant to be interactive, and that's why we are intentionally pausing significantly. And so let's open it up and see, is there anybody on the webinar today who wants to just share what are some of your strengths? So based on what we see on the screen right now, maybe it's an achievement you'd like to share, maybe it's a competitive advantage advantage that you've identified within yourself. So let's open it up. 1 or 2 people, please raise your hand and let's hear what some of your strengths are. Again, this is how you also build your confidence, on platforms like these, being able to just share about who you are, about your business and what your strengths are. So I'm going to open it up and allow anybody who would like to just raise their hand, and let's get some comments.
I think I see Albra, the Albra Jonita Poser. You can unmute.
I'm a director in Ferriolo 88. We manufacture beauty products and all organic handmade. But I need funding for containers packaging. We are working on the salon side to get our equipment too.
Great stuff. What are your strengths? So your personal strengths as an entrepreneur, touch on one of those for us.
I'm well trained, 4 years in salon. My mom has a certificate in herbal products as well.
Oh, that's good. Anybody else? Thank you, Alfredo.
Beautiful. And there's great teamwork happening there as well. You can see how
I can
the
see the
questions together. Nice one. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Who else do we have, Portia? Anyone else want to share your personal strengths? Okay, let's move on to weaknesses, Portia.
Okay. All right. Let's look at the weaknesses. What are your areas for improvement or skills? And so you should know the skills that you lack, and then you can work on that, because weaknesses don't mean that they'll stay as weaknesses. You can actually change them into strengths. So what aspects of your personality or behavior might hold you back? Because if you're shy, that might hold you back. So what can you do to make sure that you are not held back? You can hire someone who can go out there and be your salesperson or your marketing person because you are shy, so there are personalities and behaviors that might hold you back. Or I talk too much, or, it could also hold me back, talking too much, What tasks or activities do you struggle with or find challenging? You should know that. What are the things that, I know that if I have to build let me say slides, it's a problem for me. I need to get someone who can do that for me. Graphics, I know I struggle a lot with graphics, but I know I've got someone that can assist me with the graphics. Are there any negative feedback or criticism that you have received in the past? And this goes back to you, Darren, when you said advisors. Can you listen to other people? So if you get negative feedback or criticism, take it as constructive. It's not destructive. Yeah. So I think also, and if you run your own business, Darren, you can always get that from your customers. What do you do with that feedback is important. So are there any gaps in your knowledge or education that you need to address? This is important. I mean, I've been thinking about that myself. What education do I need now? I can't stop learning. I can't say, sometimes I feel like I know so much in my industry, but it's not true. There's other opportunities in our industry, that we can tap in. What are you thinking there, Darren? What are your thoughts?
I'm thinking, let's open it up again and let's see. Guys, please share some of your weaknesses that you've identified in yourself as an entrepreneur. I think for me, Portia, I would probably say one of those would be things like procrastination. If the deadline is Friday, I start with it on Thursday night. And so, those are examples of weaknesses. I know for a lot of entrepreneurs also, things like public speaking, just they need to develop that skill so that you're able to speak confidently in public and address people as far as your business is concerned. But let's open it up. So guys, anyone want to raise their hand and share with us what are some of the weaknesses that you've identified? Well, strong Tabang, you can go ahead, unmute yourself and give us your comment.
Hello everyone. My name is Isaac Maimela from Westbrook Company. So one of my weaknesses is to overthink. Let's say I made a decision that on Friday I'm going to do this. What I'll do, I will try to think again. So I end up changing the plans, my marketing plan, I end up changing them. My go-to-market strategy, I end up changing them. So I overthink a lot of things. So yeah, that's one of my weaknesses.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that.
I was thinking, like while he was talking, I think also just write things down. Like it mustn't be just in your head. I've noticed that when I have a journal, because for me, all my clients, I've got a book. That's so interesting. For every client I have, I've got this book that I just bought at Pick n Pay. So I write the name of the client there. Anything that I talk to the client about, I write there. And I do a to-do list every day. And it seems like since I'm writing things down, it's better. I get things done. you know, rather than them being in my head. You know, when I write them down, it's easy to action them. Yeah.
Nice. You know, while Isaac was talking there, I also thought that, do you realize that for almost every issue or everything that you're battling with, there is a resource out there that can help you with that, you know? And so a great way to also help yourself develop more is by finding books that address those issues, you know? So if you know you're an overthinker, the first book that came to mind that I thought of, there's a book by Mel Robbins called The 5-Second Rule, where she literally teaches you how to make a decision in 5 seconds, you know? And so that's one of the things that you want to start doing, is also find resources that can help you develop in the areas where you see some weaknesses that you've identified in yourself. Is there anyone else, or can we move on to
interesting? I see from Noma Vamgiti, yeah, I think he's got something there. Let me just read it. Oh yeah, he says, my weakness are financial calculations. Anything about financial projections stresses me out. I freeze on it. I just don't know how those are done. You're in the right place, Nomava.
You're in the right place. We're gonna get
actually
there.
A topic, and we have a topic on financial calculations. So we'll simplify things for you, and we've got an expert that will explain to you better. And I think the coaching sessions will also really, really assist you here.
You're going to walk out of this program completely transformed. Portia, let's move on to the next section, which is opportunities.
So here they say, what emerging trends or technologies can you leverage to your advantage? And I think as entrepreneurs, all of us are entrepreneurs here, and I think we know how to do that. You know, you must always keep up, you know, with the trends and look at different technologies or innovations, you know, that will work for your business. And then are there new roles, projects, or ventures that align with your interests? Can I tell you, I do this every morning. If I wake up at 5, and that's what I'm checking. I'm checking what's happening, you know, out there in my sector. I think my favorite is LinkedIn in the morning. That's my breakfast. I do LinkedIn. I check out projects, and I start talking to people I have not met before, and, you know, ask them for opportunities. Do you have access to networks or mentors that can open doors for you? You guys are fortunate that you've got a program like ours. I think L+EARN BIZ, it's the right platform. You know, you are going to have a coach, so I'm sure you must ask your coach a lot of questions, and also listen to the advices that you get. And I think these sessions also really help a lot, you know. Are there any gaps or unmet needs in your field that you can fulfill? So the opportunities are there. Don't be stereotyped, you know, look around you. There's a lot of opportunities out there. All right, and then I think we've got some chats, Darren. You can check there.
Sure thing. I won't be able to see the chats on my screen, so if I could ask you to have a look and read through them. And then, guys, while Portia's reading the chats, let's have, if you please raise your hand if you would like to share on opportunities, maybe the industry that you're in.
Oh, I think there is this one. I think was a weakness. It says costing is the weakness, overthinking whether products are up to scratch, and procrastination on marketing aspects here. So let's go to opportunities.
Are there any comments in the chat?
My weakness is I need to be confident like mom. I'm good at L+EARN. My mom is good at formulating our products.
Yeah, so we are at opportunities now. Jonita, we are now at opportunities. We've moved from weaknesses. Anyone with opportunities? All right, we can move to threats, Darren.
Let's go.
Are there any external factors that pose challenges or obstacles to your goals? We know that we had a threat not a while ago. 2 years ago, we were hit by COVID, and most businesses didn't make it because of this threat. But there are other people who saw an opportunity. They started making masks. They started producing sanitizers, you know, so all these things you can capitalize, you know, on. You can change your threat into an opportunity, all right? And then other competitors or colleagues who are more skilled or experienced, you know, are you running away from the competition or your colleagues, or are you gonna go and say, oh, let me see what they're doing and capitalize, you know, on what they're doing, all right? Or are you taking that as a threat? It is a threat, but it means you need to come up with a plan. Are there economic, political, or social factors that may impact your plans? That happens, as we know. When was it when we had the unrest? You know, people were looting, people lost their business.
Last year this time.
Yes, yeah. Last year this time, you know. So things like that, they can happen. So you must think, if this happened, what's going to happen? All right. Do you have any personal limitation or constraints that hinder your progress? Is there like something that can hinder I'm just thinking of somebody who spoke now saying that when you talked about the 5-second rule, there could be a personal limitation, or a constraint maybe that hinders them to actually do what they need to do, so you need to always look at those. But for me, I feel like threats are always there, but hey, I soldier on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when it comes to it, especially, so if we're looking at this, the picture up on screen right now, so if we were to look on the right side, where we see weaknesses and threats, that's where those skills that we touched on earlier on are so important, because what really comes into play there is that positive attitude, that passion, that adaptability, that be able to be adapt to change, and so that's where all of those skills come into play, because guys, there will always be issues, there will always be things that are threatening your business. Right now we're in a situation where there is constant load shedding. If you're anywhere in Johannesburg, you possibly had no water for 2 or 3 days, but you have to just be able to keep going. You can't allow yourself to just crumble and lie down and cry, because you're an entrepreneur. You're not going to eat if you don't keep going. And so it's important for us to have that mindset and be able to move, especially in the midst of all of that. Now, is there anyone that wants to share on threats?
Manana Busilong says load shedding is the biggest threat for my type of products. Yeah, we feel you, Manana.
Any further comments on the SWOT analysis before we wrap up this discussion? Anyone want to raise their hand and make a comment?
I think for me, I just wanted to say, everyone must remember that a SWOT analysis is very subjective and can vary from person to person, and it is important to reflect on your own strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities and threats in order to create a personalized analysis that is relevant to your circumstances. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, Portia. I think you've done such a great job of taking us through that a personal SWOT analysis. And I think, again, it's so important to do this for yourself as well as your business, right? And so
and I see there's Rebaune Williams. He says load shedding was my threat, and I bought a generator to keep on pushing, and I use it for rental also. Hey,
nice one. Okay, so let's look a little bit at why businesses fail. Now, we know statistically it's been shared and proven that a lot of, especially small businesses, fail within the first 2 years and more even in the first 5 years. And so the reasons why so many businesses fail is firstly the lack of skills, because either the business owners or the leadership don't have the correct skills to be running this business. And again, that is why a program like this is so important. That's why we absolutely commend you for giving up your time, for participating in this program, because at the very least, you're going to walk out of here with skills that can help you be more effective in your business. Then, of course, another reason why businesses fail is because of a sales problem. People often don't realize that sales is the lifeblood or the lifeline of your business, all right? And so you have to always be selling. And I think it's actually great that those two come together, because one of the biggest skills that you need to develop as an entrepreneur is your ability to sell, all right? I'm sure if you follow any of the big coaches in the world, they'll tell you, learn to sell. Just learn to sell and polish those skills, because that's going to guarantee you more success. Then, of course, the lack of financial control, and we're going to touch on this quite a lot more further on in the program, but this is a big reason why some businesses fail as well, because there's no lack of financial control in the business. And then keeping track of finances, keeping records and keeping track of where your money is going. Sometimes there's so much money coming in, but there's more holes, and you're not closing those holes to keep the money within your business. And then, of course, lack of goals. And your goals change, guys. Your goals change as you achieve things, and as you progress in business, your goals will change as well. And so it's very important that you are also setting new goals all the time, because that will keep your business alive. And then over trading is also a big reason why some businesses fail. And insolvent customers. Sometimes there's just nothing you can do. You're dependent on those customers. You had 1 or 2 of those contracts and they go insolvent. And so now you have to find other ways, and that's the reason why some businesses fail. But again, you need to be able to be adaptable and be able to change with the times. Portia, did you want to add anything on that?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, usually all these things that you mentioned, they can be caused by day-to-day operations of a business, like supply chain disruptions, pricing, poor management, inadequate quality control or production inefficiencies, and customer dissatisfaction. So you need to be careful how you run your operations every day. Don't change. Today we are here, products are like this. I bought a product last time, which I love this product a lot. It's something that I eat. It's acha, you know. I grew up in Soweto, so acha is my thing. Yeah. So, you know, I've been buying it for months, and then I just bought it last week. It's different. It tastes different. It's the same jar and everything. And you know what I did? I wrote them an email. I like, you are inconsistent. My acha has no flavor, the same flavor that I bought it for. So these are the things that actually make business fail, because now they're losing a customer because of the inconsistency. So I feel like your day-to-day operations are very important. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. All right, guys, I think without further delay, it's my absolute pleasure to welcome a special guest to today's webinar. Her name is Nezizwe Mlenzana. And Libore-born Mlenzana, co-founder and CEO of the Green Vines Agricultural Primary Cooperative, is described as a progressive thinker. She's a visionary and activist who works towards a sustainable, ecologically friendly farming method in which the farm produces organic food using conservation agriculture techniques and worm farming. Have you ever heard of somebody farming with worms? Okay. With a will to positively change the lives of people in the Misty Mount community, Nezizwe equips unemployed residents with skills to help them grow food and generate an income. Nezizwe, what an absolute pleasure to have you on the webinar. Please turn your video on, turn your microphone on, and come and talk to us.
Greetings. Can you see me?
Oh, you muted. Hi, Nez.
Hi.
Let's see if we can get you on
Just trying to get my
screen.
volume up. I can't hear myself.
We can hear you.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Greetings, everybody. So excited to be here. Feels good to be back. I was here last year.
Thank you so much for joining us, Nezizwe. So tell us, before we get into all of the questions, tell us just a little about you and what it is that you do.
All right. As mentioned, my name is Nezizwe Mlenzana. I'm from the Eastern Cape in a town called Libode. I'm a village girl. I live in Misty Mount. I run my business here. I studied economics and statistics at Nelson Mandela University, and I've been doing some certificates in worm farming. I'm a development activist. I work with government, private sector, engage them on issues that are affecting young people in our communities, in the Oatabo district and in my village. I'm also a member of the South African Youth Council, which also engages government on issues that are affecting young people in my community. Yes, so that's me.
Wow. Sounds like you are a lady of many talents. And we absolutely are already so inspired just by what you do. Tell us a little bit about why you enrolled in the L+EARN program last year.
Okay, so when I saw the advert on Facebook, I thought this is speaking to me. It was calling on people that want to grow their businesses and manage their finances well. Our business was already operating, but we were not really making money and we were struggling. So I wanted to learn on how we can actually take advantage of this opportunity and grow our business and be able to actually make money and create employment and achieve the dreams that we wanted to achieve as a business.
Beautiful. So what did you learn from the L+EARN Biz program last year? And also mention your coaching experience and also talk us through the pitching part of the program.
Okay, what I learned was I learned how to separate my business finances from my personal finances, because what I would do is when money comes in, take that money, buy something for the house or pay my own personal expenses. So during my coaching call with Portia was my coach. So she then advised me that it's rather pay yourself a salary from your business so that you are able to separate the two. And when we started applying that, we actually saw that, oh, okay, we are actually making money. And then from the coaching experience, one of the advice that she gave me was to diversify my income streams within the business. And then she asked, so have you applied for funding? What are you planning to do? I told her some plans that we had of actually applying for funding. And then during the next coaching course, we're like, so how far are you? let us set timelines. So I'm like, okay. So she really held me accountable, which was very good for our business, because we went on to actually apply for some of those opportunities, and then we got them. And then for the pitching, I was fortunate that when I was in the L+EARN program, I was also part of another program, and we actually had to pitch before pitching on the program. So Portia actually helped me with that, gave me some tips on things that I can include on the pitch. So when it was time for us to pitch on the L+EARN program, I already had a little bit of experience, and she was really good for my confidence, because public speaking is just one of those personal things that is a challenge for most people, and it was for me as well. Also because of the fact that I started, so I would set some limitations on myself. So the coaching experience helped me to gain confidence. Like I told you, Portia was my cheerleader. I felt like I'm on stage and she's cheering for me, and wings to actually fly.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. Tell us about some of the changes that you made in your business, especially once you now started participating in the L+EARN Biz program.
So the experience that I learned and the learnings that I got from the program, I used those to apply. One of the things that I did was to keep records. Portia asked for those, like, so did you make sales on the last month? Give me a record of those. I'm like, yeah, I'll give you. So I then started keeping records, and then those records assisted us to be able to develop a business plan, which we then launched for applications. And we're very fortunate to receive funding from our government. The municipality, our local municipality, they gave us fencing materials, and then because of all the learnings that we got, we then entered a competition of women entrepreneurships, and then we got an award on the youth category. We came first place in our district, and then thank you. And then we had an article published on AgriMag, and then another one came out on Tuesday on Daily Dispatch, where they were profiling our work because of the learnings that we had. We had the confidence to go out there and expose ourselves and go look for opportunities, and just enter for things. We entered for awards, and again, I received another award on the NYDA Trailblazers 2023. So the person I was before I enrolled on the program, the person I am now, are two totally different people. I've grown a lot, especially my confidence. The program really worked on my confidence, and we're able now to pursue things that are going to help us grow. And we are seeing the results. These awards are amazing. The articles are amazing. The funding opportunities that we have received are really amazing.
So inspiring. You make it look and sound so easy, but we know it's not. We know that it's hard work. And so I think one of my next question to you would be, what keeps you motivated? What keeps you driven as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, like you said, it's not easy. Entrepreneurship is hard, but what keeps me motivated and driven is the impact that I know that I am doing. And as our business is growing, we are employing people. So knowing that there are people that are earning an income because we exist and we're doing the work, that keeps me driven. And the impact that I want to do in my community, because I really want to positively change my community for the better, because the situations in rural areas, especially in the Eastern Cape, they are not that good. Our province is known to be one of the poorest provinces, and yet we have so much fertile land. So my work is to inspire people to use the resources that they already have, because in rural areas, I don't know if you guys have been, every household has a garden. So my mission is to ensure that all those gardens are working. If it's not the parents working the gardens, then the youth, or if those people are not interested in agriculture, then the ones that are interested can use that land to make an income and then pay rent to the people that own land. So that drives me. Those are the visions that that drive me. So I really want to achieve those goals.
Yeah.
There's some nice comments in the chat saying this is so inspiring. Somebody else saying good to see you, oozing with confidence. And I can tell you guys on the call today, this lady works hard. Yesterday we had a meeting with her. She didn't look anything like this. She was in a camp. She was outside on site. There were worms in the background. There were people chopping. And so don't be fooled. It is hard work. But I think really just looking at you in this way, you epitomize what we've been talking about today, about those values and those skills and being able to be positive and passionate about your business. I think if there's anything people can take away from just the talk with you, it's being able to be so passionate about your business and speak this way. We're going to open up for some questions for Neziswe in a few minutes. So if you do have any questions for Neziswe, please type them in the chat or raise your hand. But before we do, Neziswe, what is your words to the participants that are on the program this year?
Okay. So guys, people pay for coaches out there. And then you are here, you have an opportunity to take advantage of the coaches for free. So please listen to your coaches, ask them questions, tell them your story, tell them the challenges that you're experiencing. Because for me, when I started the coaching journey, I was tempted to tell Portia all the good things about the business, but then she kept asking questions and I had to reveal my challenges and stuff. So be open with your coaches, take their advice to heart, and the activities that you're given on the program, take some time apart to do them, because those are the skills that you're going to use to make your business a success. And obviously enjoy the journey.
Beautiful. Neziswe, thank you so much for joining us. Absolutely beautiful talking to you. Albra, do you have a question?
And I wanted to say, Darren, as much as Neziswe was very busy, I felt like she was one of those people, she's always doing something. We had our calls at 9 p.m. sometimes because she's on the road. I'll call her. She's like, I'm on the road. I said, okay, I'm going to call you in the evening. So she's always working, but she made a plan, to attend the coaching sessions. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, sorry. I think I was looking at our older chat. Anybody else with a question? Anyone have a question for our guest? Please feel free to raise your hand. Portia, do you have any questions for Neziswe? Anything that you feel she didn't tell us about her journey? Did she only tell us the good?
No, she wasn't tracking. She wasn't tracking finances, hey? Because when I asked her for the first time, she was like, "Oh, I'll do it. And I knew she doesn't have. And then, and then I said to her, start doing it. Can you use Excel? And she said, yes. Then I said, just start, just tracking, writing things down, money going out, money coming in. Let's start there. And then she started doing it. And then she realized that she is making money. The other question, when I asked her, I said to her, are you paying yourself a salary? She says, no. Then I said, then how are you paying for the child, for home, for food, for this? I'm taking it out of the business. I said, then that's a salary. So why don't you just formalize it into an amount and then take it out as a salary? Because then you are still going back into the business kitty, taking from there and using it for financial purposes. Yeah. So now she started paying herself a salary and she can differentiate between personal and business. Yeah.
Beautiful. Neziswe, thank you again. You were absolutely... Oh, did you want to say something?
Yes, Darren. I see a question on the chat. Tell us more about the worms. How do you farm worms? Yes. So what we do is we create a worm bed, and then we take the manure, either sheep or cow or pig manure, any manure you can use. So we make a worm bed, and then we take that manure we use it to feed the worms, and then we keep it moist. So what you do is you don't just take any earthworm you find in your garden, or else they will escape. So we use the red wigglers, and then we keep them there. They eat the manure. Once the manure has been ingested by the worm, then that is your compost. Yeah, then you sell that. That's like the Woolworths compost.
Oh, okay. I remember how I got excited when you told me about that. Remember?
Yes, I do.
I think I was telling everybody about it the whole day.
Yes, and I remember on the next webinar you gave me a shout out. So I was like, yes.
Spotlights.
Yep, spotlight, yeah.
Nadisha, again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. I think it's been so inspiring talking to you, and we really enjoyed just watching your journey. I think from my side, I know I didn't interact with you much last year because I was just presenting the webinars, but to see the growth and to see the impact of this program is really phenomenal. And so we continue to wish you great success. Keep doing what you're doing. You're making a good difference, a real impact. And we wish you great success in your business. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, thank you so much. And thank you to the Asisa Foundation. You guys are doing really amazing work and you're impacting so many lives. I don't even know that you realize that you really do. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Nazisa. Alrighty, so we're going to move on, and we do have a quiz that's going to come up on the screen right now. And so, team, if you could just launch the quiz. Guys, on your screen, the quiz will pop up. There are 7 questions. All right, so make sure that you scroll all the way down to the bottom, answer all of the questions, and then only it will allow you to submit.
So it's a multiple choice, guys. Just choose one right answer.
Right, 7 questions. Make sure you answer all 7 questions. Go all the way down to the bottom, click submit, and then it will allow you to proceed from there. If you are having any issues, just type in the chat, but it seems to be working and everyone seems to be participating in the quiz. Some of you have got serious frowns on your faces. It's not so difficult, guys. Don't stress about it. Just answer the questions. Nice. We're going to keep it open for another minute or so. Okay, looks like quite a few of you still need to complete the quiz. While you are doing that, if you're done completing the quiz, please type in the chat and let us know what you thought of today's webinar, what you thought of the content presented, what you thought of today's experience and today's topic. We'd love to see some of your comments in the chat as well. Those of you that have completed the quiz already. And we are not done, so please don't exit yet. We've got a few more things we'd love to cover before we jump off today's call. But those who are completed, please let us know what you thought of today. Let us know what you've learned. Let us know how you felt about the entire experience on today's webinar. Quite a few of you still need to complete the survey, so I'm going to keep it open for another minute. Portia, if you can check for me if there's any comments in the chat worth reading. Portia, I think you're on mute if you are reading.
Yeah, I can see Sandile say submitted. It was today was good. Can't wait to do the SWOT analysis so can know what to fix going forward. And then Mulalo says the webinar was on point and practical. We love that we can engage the content for ourselves.
Thank you. Thank you for your feedback.
Oh, and then they say thank you to our special guest for joining us, looking stunning, and we can only imagine the cap and worms.
Absolutely. She doesn't look like someone who plays with worms all day. Hey.
And then Mulalo, is it you here? Says, I held back on participating on the SWOT exercises to give others a chance, but on the 28th, I'll be a full force. Wow, Mulalo.
That's it. Guys, again, just to remind you all, this webinar is for you. You know, this whole program is for you. And so when we do open up for comments, please feel free. There's no such thing as a stupid question. There's no such thing as a stupid comment, you know, and again, you learn so much. We learn so much from each other. I mean, there are businesses that are represented here and businesses that some of you are doing that we haven't even heard of or thought of. And so something that you are doing in your business can help somebody else. And so very important that you feel free to participate, especially when we open up for some engagement. All right. Is there anyone still completing the quiz, or are we happy to take it down? Team, if you are confident, you can take it down.
Yeah, and there's also Pearls Melanie saying today's webinar has been very informative. I have not been aware of the things that might make a business to fail until today, when a few were mentioned. This showed me which areas I need to improve at. Wow, great stuff.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Guys, so before we wrap up today, just a reminder that we do have a monitoring and evaluation partner. The company's name is Greenhouse. And so by now you would have all probably completed the first assessment. So thank you so much to those of you who have completed that. And then please do cooperate with them when they contact you. I think the next step in the journey will be they will reach out to some of you individually. So please expect they might contact you for a one-on-one interview just to ask you some questions about your business and about the program. Please do cooperate with them, and that will just help us really make sure that we deliver this program effectively. And so please look out for Greenhouse when they do contact you. All right, Portia, touch on the incentives again.
Yes, I hope that everybody who's attending today was at the induction. We did speak about incentives, that if you attend and you participate and engage fully, and when you say fully, it's the coaching, it's the webinar attendance, participants. It's the homework that we give you. Just to also remind you, we'll talk about homework later, but the incentives here, remember, you get 2 gig data for all the webinars, and I'm sure all of you received that this morning. And then you get 1 gig data for coaching, because remember that coaching session is an hour and it's also online. So you are going to need that 1 gig. That's what incentive you get. And then accumulate points to the BusyBucks. We've got a BusyBucks system for those who are not here 2 weeks ago. By fully participating in the webinars, your syndicates, and supporting your busy buddies. So you'll see that you'll find that let me say I'm doing construction and there's somebody else doing construction. We can pair you guys up, and then you have a buddy. You can advise each other and network with each other. So we will look at the types of businesses that you do and say, okay, you can start networking with other participants. There's a 300 Rand voucher for every 4 webinars you attend. So you need to attend all your webinars. And then on the 4th webinar, and we're counting the one from the last time, the induction, and this is the second one, okay? 15 top participants will receive a business support voucher depending on the business need. The vouchers may include one of the following services. It could be a website development, it could be a branding voucher, registration or compliance, things that you need for the business, all right? So that voucher will pay for those things. And then to qualify for graduation and receive your certificate, you need to do to complete the following, submit all homework and assessments that I think Darren was talking about, from Greenhouse. Those are also important because we need to improve our program. Evaluation forms and homework, and receive free coaching support. So for you need to do all those. Please, when your coach calls you and say, let's set up an appointment, we're going to have a session from 12 to 1. Please do this. It's for your own benefit. I think Neziswa really emphasized on that. And then you need to complete 6 out of 8 or all modules. So if you can just make sure that you attend at least 6 out of the 8 webinars that we have. Yes, I'm talking about the content webinars here, from this webinar until the end. And then attend 3 out of the 4 coaching sessions. You need to do your coaching sessions. Like Neziswa said, it's very expensive to find a coach. So here we are giving you a free coach. So please, and it is not really free. Somebody's paying on your behalf. So also remember that. Yeah, all right, you can move on.
Thank you. All right, I think, Portia, you have explained how the BusyBucks work. So yeah. We don't need to touch on this here. All right, so we're going to do the group picture and then we're not done. Let's quickly touch on what our next webinar, Portia. Could you want to quickly talk about that?
Okay, so our next webinar is on the 28th of July, which is 14 days from now. And then our next webinar will be on a Friday again, same time for this group. And then obviously we've got another second group, but for this group, it will be the same time from 10 to 12 or 10 to 11:30. And then note that there will be homework. So today, just watch out, or tomorrow, we are going to send you homework. We'll send it via WhatsApp and email. And the deadline for that will be the 20th of July. You need to submit your homework. And that will be on personal SWOT. So we'll send you this this evening or tomorrow morning. And then be aware that all webinars will be happening on a Friday. And our topic, as you can see, says my personal goals and budget. And then we're going to talk about mental health and finances. Because as business people, we do get stressed, hey? And there's a lot of things going on. So also we're just gonna help you, with setting your goals and, writing things down and how to budget, yeah.
Cool, let's do the tradition. So as it is tradition, let's get everybody's cameras on. So everybody's cameras on. I'm gonna take the screen down so that we can see everybody on screen. Let's get our smiles on there. I can see cold South Africa. We can see the beanies and the warm jackets. So good to see all the lovely faces on the webinar. Guys, today. Before we end off today, we're going to actually just play out with a video. Again, just reiterating who the team is that's putting together these webinars, and also especially just to give you a little bit of an introduction to some of the coaches that you are going to experience. So the video is up on the screen, and let's just quickly have a look at that. Guys, well, that's it from our side. It's been an absolute pleasure once again being with you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being on time. Thank you for soldiering through all of the technical challenges that I know some of you experienced, but we absolutely enjoyed it. Portia and I have had a great time presenting today's webinar. Please participate in the Facebook group, participate on WhatsApp. You're going to get some time with your coaches, and we will see you all in 2 weeks' time. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. And remember to keep pursuing your passion with your business. Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.